Today we're looking at something a little bit different. I got an email from Smashing Magazine. They have this email newsletter I subscribe to. You can go to the website, subscribe to it obviously if you like. They do CSS and HTML and also kind of design typography kind of articles all the time. They do really good content. And one of the parts of this email was this, which was a link to the invisible parts of CSS article, specifically looking at how this particular page might, or any element within the page might render. I'll link to the actual article here, which is made by mike.com.au, and what Mike wrote is basically a little bit of a summary of all the things that we're used to and we're not used to seeing, and specifically the display property. We had two sessions yesterday, which are up on the Collaborate recordings panel. So if you missed those, go in there. There's about an hour of stuff to watch. But in summary, what we did is we looked at a few things, such as the menu. How do I make a menu out of lists? So if I actually have a bullet point list, how do I change that from being bullet points into something that's like this? Well, we did that with a bit of CSS. So we wrote some CSS to make that happen. We looked at gallery grids. So if I have all of these images in my page, how can I position them nicely? So we went from having, let's just show you the live view of this. We had these kind of rollover effects done with CSS. And again, if you take all of that out, so we take all that CSS out, there's going to be a different behavior to all of these aspects. Let's just go back to the design view so I can change this. Not today. Fair enough. Delete. So it's not letting me do that for whatever reason, but there we go. And then what we can do here is you can see that's what it looks like without that CSS. So all these images just get bunched up against each other. But you add these few lines. Can I undo now? No undo. So let's not save and open this up again. So with these few lines of CSS, what you've got is the body being changed to black, the images within it having this padding and margin and border set to specific things, and then the image hover state being set to red and the border getting changed to white. The reason we set the border to black on a black background is because if we don't, it will pop, and that's really annoying. So when you look at it in the live view, all the images will kind of move out of place because you're adding an extra 2 pixels on the top and the bottom, and so it just kind of makes it all jump around. So to fix that, you just make sure that you add an invisible, seemingly because it's a black background, border to all these images. So then you're just replacing the color and not adding 2 pixels on the top and the bottom. The reason I mention this is because in this article there's a lot of conversation around how things work and the box model, and the box model is really that whole diagram we were looking at so many times, which has your content in the middle, the padding, the border, and the margins outside of it. And if you understand that that's what every element has, then you understand that that's what you can manipulate and adjust to get things to position in exactly the spot that you want it to. And it's maybe a little bit too technical, because if I'm reading an article and I'm excited about it, it's probably too technical for someone who's just starting. But I can tell you that I would have loved to see stuff like this when I was starting out, because conceptually it explains all these fundamental aspects of the page, and therefore when you get into positioning, width auto and width 100%, you start understanding how these things might float out of the space where you imagine them to be. So there's some interesting stuff to read there, maybe not right now, maybe in the future. But that's another reason to kind of subscribe to the newsletter. If you finish the course and you're kind of like, hey, I want to read more, I want to learn more, you can do what I do and subscribe to those guys. Not that this is a paid promotion, but it's just you need to find sources of information that you can trust, that you can also reliably keep up to date with what's happening in the web. So again, like I said, it's a little bit different video for today, but I thought I'd just throw that in. Again, please check out those recordings, those Collaborate recordings. There's, like I said, an hour of stuff there to review, mostly around positioning things and moving things around on the screen, as well as Google fonts and how to really get those different weights in specifically to how you might want to kind of have a H1 different to a H2 and give them different weights depending on the circumstance. So using some classes for that. Definitely stuff I would recommend you check out if you have the time. Otherwise, I will see you guys tomorrow. So have a good day and see you later.